Hello, wonderful people. It's nice to be back here on YouTube after a little bit of a break. I did not plan it. It just happened to be like that with the vacation that I took, where I also did some workshops. But it was so perfect because I finally got not only the clarity of what I want to do in my work and in presenting my work online, but also I gathered a team that's going to help me execute all of that, which is the most exciting part. So I'll talk a little bit about that today, but I'll also talk about the ending of this first phase, which lasted about a year for me, of detaching survival from where it doesn't belong and moving more towards living the life from preference. So everybody who is new, I'm Kosta, and you can check out in the description below more about me and what I do and how I do it. So yeah, let's dive into this. I'll start with this journey that I had over the last year, and I call it the journey of grounding. I thought that's gonna naturally happen when our son was born at the end of 2022, but that was actually just the beginning of it. When my channel opened and I started doing the channeling workshops in 2020, I've done a lot of that work, a lot of energy work, one-on-one, hundreds. I think over the course of 2.5 years, there must have been like 150, 200 broadcasts, 8 or 10 retreats, a lot. I was a lot in these high frequencies. So when I went to visit this one energy lady last year, I call her energy lady in Serbia. She's the one of the people who can see energy without spoken word, which is so fascinating for me because out of all clairvoyant, clairauditory kind of thing, that's the one that I don't have developed. So it's very fascinating. So I laid down and she gave me this scan and gave me this feedback, and I'll make a video specifically about that experience, which was so beneficial soon. But that's when I really feel that I gave myself permission to start grounding all of these amazing high frequencies that I was exposed to, whether traveling with Abraham Hicks or Dr. Joe Dispenza, or just doing channeling work and energy work that I was doing with people. So what it really felt was that I was out of my body and then I started having some digestive issues. Went to this lady and she said, dude, you gotta ground yourself up. You gotta get into your body. You gotta get some mental game going on, meaning find a project also that's gonna do that for you. But most importantly, what that aspect did for me is to stop pretending that I'm satisfied with quick fixes. And this immediately, like a month after that, showcased in the first next contrasting experience or resistance experience that I had about money. We're back. We don't have anything really planned out. We've been living, a little bit on our own, a little bit with my parents, a little bit with his parents, Armand's parents, to, kind of like build this family life. And that affected my lower back the worst ever. So I've been having this ongoing thing for about 4 or 5 years because all of a sudden, after 25 years of dancing and being a professional athlete, dominantly, I was back to just sitting. And oh my gosh, what a wonderful dragonfly just got themselves on camera. I wish you could see this, but anyways, you want to sit here? Okay, anyway, went there. I digress. So for 4 or 5 years, I've had this issue on and off, and every time I would get better and better how to do it quicker, how to get out of it quicker. But every time it would come back, it came back even stronger. And I was like, what's happening here? And then I realized, oh my gosh, I was just using this as an escape for the moment, as a temporary relief. So what would give me a full relief? It will not be just go take, I don't know how many massages or therapies or acupuncture or chiropractor stuff that I was doing. It's allow yourself first to feel all of that and sit with all of that's coming in and detach survival from it. So in a craziest turn of events, for 3 weeks I could not walk, could barely walk. I could sit only once a week for an hour and a half that I was doing this online program, leaning forward in a weird position, in a lot of pain. And I could not even lay down in a position that would give me any kind of relief. So for 3 weeks, I was sitting there, but I did not allow myself to go and just detach myself out, so to speak. So what I did was I would just sit with that shit that would come out up on the surface and say, well, if this was never to change, if this feeling in the body was never to change, like my life would not be, it would be far from what I want, but I would still be alive. And for the course of those 3 weeks, Armand would come up and be like, are you lying that you're in pain because you're also so happy when you work with your people, even though you're lying down? What's happening over here? He was puzzled. And I knew that what I'm doing, I was so happy that I know that this is going to work out, that was carrying me through. And don't get me wrong, I was not sitting in pain doing nothing about it for 3 weeks and just like sitting and enduring pain. But every action that I had to alleviate it here and there would come from the preference. Even though I was in a very, very severe physical pain, my decisions to alleviate the pain would come from preference, not because I have to, not because I must, not because I need to. Even though I have at that moment 1.5-year-old at the house and gotta go work, maybe come back to dancing, teaching, those were the thoughts coming in. So sitting like that and following the action of, hey, I don't have to change this physical situation, but I do want to, and it is my preference, led me to remember little by little, the things that I know how to apply already, but not to insist that it needs to be done in a day or two because I have to do da, which I've done many times. I remember this one time I even could not walk, and I went to a guy to fix me, and he fixed me, and the next day I was dancing professional competition. So this is how far I could I could turn the reality, but since it came from survival and since it did not come from preference, it had expiration date. Okay, so this is what I've been doing, and after 3-4 weeks, it started, obviously my body started getting better and better, but then I started applying it to everything and sharing it with everyone that I worked with, which is, I'm still forming the details about it, but it is kind of detaching survival as the first step, and then going into your preference and into what you want, manifesting part of it, right, as a second step. And it's been really it hasn't been as satisfying in the beginning, but more the time has passed, I would see the results of not ignoring something, not trying to eliminate it, but actually really accepting where I am, and then from there directing to where I want to be. But not from insistence that it has to change, but just because I want to and I feel like it. So pretty much that's been a year. I just wrote it over here for myself, a year of detaching survival where it doesn't belong, but also while not including any regular practices. I've done no channeling. I took a sabbatical from all of that because I really wanted to see where and how I'm going to land and integrate all of that stuff when I'm not getting quick fixes from this workshop or from my own channeled work with somebody else. So it's been a fascinating year of that, and some of the results I'm going to share because it's so good is now I'm playing tennis 4 times a week, and I'm toying with an idea to come back to pro dancing as well, at least practicing a few times a week. Have full-on new rhythm with Armand and Alexander in our life, and complete new levels of harmony, because going through this process also has triggered a lot of stuff allowed a lot of stuff to come up to the surface, and none of this, not for a moment, seemed like it's going to be any kind of a deal breaker. And that's what I was very satisfied about, that I'm very satisfied about and very proud about, that I could allow things that were undercurrents, energetical undercurrents, that were below all of this very easy focus for me. I allowed some of those things to come up and alchemize, so they're not a big player anymore. At this moment, we have 30 times more money in our bank account than we had a year ago, when we didn't even know what's going to happen. So it's like a big deal. especially knowing that, how it came to be and where it started. And then another thing that I'm very happy about is at the end of this summer, I finally realized and detached survival from my work, from presenting, from retreats, from channeling, from being of service to others, I detached survival from it, which in the essence detached some of the last remaining savior of the world moments, and allowed me to actually download and manifest. I don't know why I'm doing this, but manifest the person who's going to be helping me, who will be helping me with my marketing efforts, meaning to pack everything that I'm going to be putting out in a written form on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. So that's a very wonderful reflection for me, because this has been push and pull experience for me since I started channeling back in 2020, from like how we're going to take on the whole world, but then coming through this personal experience of really how to put it all together. And so I'm very excited. That person just happens to live. It came as a recommendation from a very dear family friend, but she happens to live on the same street where I grew up. So I found it super fascinating. So yes, those are some of the results, that came to mind as I was preparing for this video. And yes, and then now this summer I also tested myself back a little bit into this, focus what you want and to get it very specifically game. I used to do that very successfully, but mostly was driven from survival. So it was very fun to, a dear friend had this manifestation challenge, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's coming at the perfect time. I have these workshops I want to do in Serbia, and I'm not attached if they have to happen. It's not like a must in this moment. And I just started refocusing back, or using some of the tools that I used before, some of the new ones that you introduced me to. And I had a blast getting exactly what I wanted to do, which is a topic for a whole nother video maybe in the future. And I love that I'm coming back into this focusing game of, hey, what do I want? Enjoying the process to get it, dominantly from the preference. It's kind of a big deal for me, and it shapes up like very clearly from the body, from the experience, the essence of my work. It's not anymore like I want this just because I'm supposed to do it because I can, but it's more about I want to do this because I feel like it. And that's really, really the end of story. And that doesn't at the same time diminish ambition of what I want to do with that and where I want to present it and how many people I would love to touch, but that it's not attached to survival dominantly anymore, but it's dominantly now in a preference. So I'm very excited about it. Kind of feels like a whole new rebirth. And so I just had to share all of that with you, and thank you for being here again. I know we are still in not that big of numbers, but and that makes all of this so much more special. So thank you for being here. As always, when I finish, if you're here and watched until the end, drop a comment below. I always love to see if and who of you is here listening the complete video. And I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.